just one block needed for this morning. And we're going to starting with that block in the seated position. It was only a couple of days ago I was having to wear 2 pairs of leggings and and 2.5 tops to stay warm. Now it feels like I'm in the Caribbean. Yeah, we'll sit down in a comfy posture. That we'll be able to do some twists, etc. from in a moment. Just going to sit up nice and tall. So a little wriggle out, roll the shoulders back a couple of times, palms down, and close the eyes. Breathing gently in and out through the nose. We settle the breath and see what it does. As we open the eyes, we'll take some twists, just one to each side. So we'll turn to the left. And then come back to the center. And we'll take it over to the right side. And then we'll release back to the center. And to draw the right arm across the chest and out towards the left side. And release, the arms float out, cross over the opposite way. And then gently release that side as well. I'm going to come down and lie onto our spine, so I can use the block behind. Take a little breath. We're going to have the knees high, hands behind. Just roll the spine gently down into the floor. I'm going to stay here for about a minute and a bit. Just letting the spine out gently to wriggle out the shoulders. Wriggle the spine and the hips away. Let the feet gradually move out a little wider. And then we'll just bring the hands alongside the body, palms facing up. Feeling the spine gently sinking into the floor. Letting all the tight muscles around the spine soften up a little bit. And we'll draw the knees gently in towards the body. Just taking the hands on top of the knees themselves. We'll paint some circles with the kneecaps. Just nice big juicy circles. One knee goes to the right, one knee goes to the left. Coming back into the center. Getting used to that little bit of a tilt through the pelvis as well. And we'll start to draw the knees in a little bit more on the exhale. So starting to lift the pelvis away from the ground. Use your core muscles to draw your pubic bone towards you. So the hands are guiding the legs rather than pulling. And then we'll bring the knees back together and the feet to the floor. Drawing the right knee in towards the chest, take the hands around the shin, draw the knees towards the armpits, slide the left leg out, flex the foot. Try and lengthen both sitting bones away evenly, even though you're drawing the right knee in towards the body. And concentrate a little bit on internal rotation in that left thigh. And then we'll slide the left foot back in, drop the right foot down, change over to the left, use that towards the armpit, and then slide out the right heel. Center line of the mat as a guide. Remember that little internal rotation. Foot is flexed, heel is away, sitting bones evenly draw out. So that's the tricky one, because obviously drawing the left knee in, the hip is going to follow. So you're going to send the hip away and still continue to draw the knee in towards the armpit. And we'll draw that right heel in, bring both feet to the ground, Take the arms out wide to start with. Take a little breath, and then we're going to draw the left arm up towards the sky, right arm over the top. Allow ourselves to wrap around elbows and bring our hands in towards the face and elbows in towards the chest. Draw the elbows down and shoulders back a little bit, and then we'll take the left leg up towards the sky, cross it over, and see if we can wrap the foot underneath that right calf. So the knees come directly above the hips. We try and keep the spine connected to the ground. And then we'll release everything out. And bring the right arm up, left arm over the top. A little bend into the elbows, draw the elbows into the chest, and then draw the shoulders down. Take the right leg high, fold it over, wrap it round, do your best. So try and get the foot underneath the back of the calf. Now I can do it on one side easily, not the other. So just enjoying the opportunity to squeeze the thighs together. And then we'll release everything back out again. And draw the knees in towards the chest. And we'll take a little hug. So I'm going to draw chin in towards chest and try and wrap the forearms around the shins and have a little rock from side to side. Take a little rest from there. We're going to bring the knees up directly above the hips, and the shins will be parallel to the floor, toes pointing away. We'll take the hands around the back of the head. I'm just going to move the block out the way. The fingers are very lightly interlaced and the elbows are down on the floor. Now, if your chest has lifted your spine away from the ground a little bit, you want to draw that back down and connect as much of your back as you possibly can to the floor. We're going to cross over a little bit in this. So we're going to keep the right elbow on the floor. Allow the body to lift forwards and up. Bring that left elbow to touch the right knee. Extend the left leg out 45 degrees. Roll it back down into that start position. And then take the right elbow up. Extend the right leg out. And come back. Take a little breath at the bottom. And again. So there's quite a deliberate pause at the bottom. Gives us an opportunity to reconnect the spine to the floor, but it also means that the roll up and the roll down doesn't work with momentum. It's just there is some starting and stopping going on. About another minute. So plenty of time to practice. Got 15 seconds left. I think we can probably all agree, we're definitely connected with our core. Last tap out Oh, feet come back down to the ground. Lovely. We'll take the arms out wide and just take that into a spinal twist. So we'll go over towards the right. Let everything relax. We'll come back to the center and exhale over to the opposite side. Draw the knees in again to the center line. I want to bring the block back underneath the back of the head. And we're going to take the hands and down by the side of the body and just a little bit underneath your bottom. So you lift the cheek off. And your hands and your fingers might be in front of your bottom, closer towards the front of the mat. It's not a problem. You just want that little bit of sort of wrapping the shoulders underneath, keeping the spine flat to the floor. We'll draw one knee at a time in towards the body. And then we're going to extend the legs up towards the sky, pointing the toes, and try and get the legs to be as straight as they can. And we're just going to simply alternate one leg at a time down towards the floor, keeping the legs straight, close to the ground, lifting it back up, and then crossing over to the other side. Inhaling up. So with the hands palm facing down, you can wrap the shoulders down into the floor a little bit, keep the belly connected and low. Avoid lifting the ribs up towards the sky. And last one. And let these come back in, take the hands out and we're into those circles again. Just rolling around. Remember, as the knees come back in towards the body, you draw the belly in towards the spine, lift the tailbone away from the floor. So you're taking a little bit of a crunch. And last one coming in towards the body. And then we're going to reverse that up. So we're going to breathe in on the way out. From the center. This time we're just letting the spine be a little bit more natural. We're not trying to draw the abdominal muscles in. And then we'll take a little roll onto the right side. So lift ourselves slowly back up. I'm going to spin round, smooth off, block off the way. Come up to the front of the mat. We'll start with child's pose. So allow yourself to take the knees a little distance apart. And walk the hands forwards. So the fingertips are right to the front edge of the mat. Elbows are off the ground. And then looking towards the front of the mat, lift back up onto all fours. Tuck the toes underneath and take ourselves into down dog. So your choice to walk that dog out or stay still. And float into a plank as we breathe in. Roll over the toes, knees to the floor. Sit back onto that child position, head to the ground if you can. Lift up with a round spine, up onto all fours, into neutral. Draw the shoulders back, toes underneath, and come back up into that down dog. Come forwards into your plank. Push over the toes, knees to the floor. Sitting gently back down. Exhale. Inhale it up. Round spine to neutral. Shoulders back. So the shoulder girdle engages a little bit as we lift up into that down dog. We come into the plank. Roll over the toes. Knees to the floor. Lifting back up. Tuck the toes. Down dog. One more time, coming into plank. Roll over the toes. Easing down. Lifting up into down dog. As you exhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest and come into a lunge. So foot through to the front of the mat. On the fingertips, strong back leg. Drop the back heel down onto the floor, coming into warrior two. We'll bring the hands alongside the body, lift the chest a little bit, and then drive down through that shin on the front leg to open ourselves up into warrior two. We'll float the arms up towards the sky, down towards the floor. Now this time we're going to step back into a three-legged down dog. So the right leg swings up towards the sky. Point the toes out, straight leg, and then hinging the leg back down to the floor. We'll draw the right knee in towards the chest. Bring that into the lunge. Up on the fingertips. And we drop the back heel in. Hands alongside the hips. Open up into warrior two. Inhale the hands high, down to the floor. Spin the back heel. Step it into that three-legged dog. Left leg lifts. And then the foot comes down. Right knee comes into the chest. To lunge. Drop the back heel. Warrior two. Inhale the hands high. Rotate down to the floor. Step it back. Right leg lifts. Scissor the leg. Foot comes to the floor. Left knee comes in. Breath in. Exhale to the lunge. Drop the back heel. Open up into warrior two. Inhale high, down to the floor. Scissor that left leg. Bring the foot to the floor. Right knee into the body. The foot comes through. Heel drops in for warrior two. Hands alongside. Inhale up. Take the hands high. Down to the floor. Scissor the right leg, down to the ground. Left knee into the chest, foot comes through, heel drops down, hands alongside, inhale up, hands to the sky, rotate it down, scissor the left leg, bring the foot to the floor, right knee into the chest, into the lunge, drop the back heel, hands alongside the body, open up, inhale high, exhale down, scissor the right leg, bring the foot down, inhale left knee in, exhale into the lunge, drop the back heel, hands alongside the body, open it up. This is the last side, promise. Hands down. And scissor the left leg. Foot to the floor. Take a little breath. Now walk the toes into the front of the mat, keeping the hands on the floor. So coming up onto tippy toes, drawing the belly in a little bit, taking tiny small steps, a few inches, drawing the belly in, hips high. Eventually, the wrists, hamstrings and back all say you need to come up onto fingertips and walk in, so we do. Bring the hands onto the hips, take a little breath, let ourselves lift up. We'll just shake that out a little bit. Take a moment to catch our breath. Some deep breaths. Now bring the hands in towards the heart. I'm going to take a little breath, soften the knees over the toes. We'll take the hands onto the right thigh, so we've got a little bit of support. I'm going to slide the left foot back into the lunge, find our perfect position, drop the heel in, and let ourselves open up into Warrior Two. Turn the palm on the front hand, take it into Reverse Warrior. So the back leg is strong. Feel where the front knee is. Should be over the top of the ankle. Try to let the head follow the line of the body, lifting up and out at the same time. Come back into our Warrior Two. Extend forwards into extended side ankle. Taking the top arm up towards the sky. Now we're going to slowly straighten the front leg into triangle pose. Taking the hand down onto the bottom of the shin. Now soften the front knee over the ankle and bring the hands down onto the inside of the front foot. And then turn the back heel up towards the sky. You can lengthen the foot out a little bit, just sliding the leg away. So we come into tiger pose. I'm going to press that forearm and leg towards each other on the center. Last breath here. I'm going to walk the hands around as you exhale to the long side of the mat, turning the toes in. Come up onto the fingertips, even the weight out through the feet. When you're ready, I'm going to lengthen those hips over the thighs and hinge down gently towards the floor. Come back up halfway, Now turn the toes out and heels in. Allow the hands to walk towards the back of the mat, down the side of the mat. So we're going to bend into that back knee. And slowly pivot on the front heel so the toes point up towards the sky as we sit down onto the back heel. Bring the fingers a little bit more in front of the body. Now you can keep the fingertips on the floor, or if you can find your balance, you can bring your hands in towards the heart. I am just a little bit too close to my furniture to want to take that as small as a risk. You're needing to draw the belly in. And you actually press out through the heel a little bit of the long leg and draw the socket back into the hip joint so you can feel these thigh muscles just contract a little bit. Now we'll bring the hands down to the floor if you take them away. We're going to bring the hands flat to the ground, so we lean forwards a little bit, and we're going to try and keep as low as we can and slide ourselves up to the other end of the mat, and do the same again. So just taking a little time to make sure you're happy on your toes, your knees, etc., and then walk your fingers a little closer in towards the body so you come more up to upright. Lengthen the leg, draw the thigh in, hands away if you feel confident to do that. You haven't got anything that you're going to crash into if you do take a stumble. And then we'll bring the hands back down to the ground. Take the fingers forwards a little bit and come back up into that starting position. And we're just walking the fingers around to the front of the mat into the lunge, taking a little breath. Step it in then. And then bringing the hands onto the hips and lifting back up. Shake it all out. Bring the hands in towards the heart. Soften the knees over the toes. So you want to have your feet hip distance apart as you come into this. You bring the hands onto that left thigh to a little bit of support. Keep the spine nice and long. And then when you're ready, you're going to slide your right foot back along the mat into the lunge. Drop the heel in to open up into your warrior two. Adjust if you need to. Turn the palm on the front hand into your reverse warrior. Bellies are drawn in a little bit. Breathe into that rib cage, opens to the sky. And come back into warrior two. Extend forwards. Forearm onto the front thigh, top hand to the sky. So there's very little weight on that front arm. The body is lifting itself up. Now we're going to start to straighten the front leg again. Bring a hand onto the shin. So we come into that triangle pose. We'll soften the front knee. Bring the hands gently down onto the inside of that front leg. Spin the heel on the back and allow yourself to lengthen out a little bit more. Gently squeeze that arm and leg together at the front. The back leg is strong, so you should still be able to feel the buttock on the back leg starting to engage as you lengthen out. I want it to fire up completely through the leg. And then we're going to slowly walk the hands around to the long side of the mat. Turn the toes in, heels out. Lengthen the body. Get that tailbone to feel like it's moving away. And then on the exhale, you're ready to lower. Into that wide-legged forward fold. Try to press the feet down evenly into the ground, squeezing the groins together a little bit. One more breath here. We'll lift up halfway onto the palms again. Turn the toes out, heels in. Gonna walk the hands into that back foot. Pivots on the front heel. And then when you're safe, you bring the hands back in front of the body and you take the lift if you feel confident to do that. Might be better to just keep the fingers on the floor and work on that heel lengthening away and the thigh sucking in. That takes a fair bit of concentration. One more breath here. Let the hands come to the ground. Keep as low as you can. Transfer yourself to the other end of the mat. And allow yourself to gently ease in. Hands to the floor again. We lift up into the middle, coming into that starting position, and then walking the fingers around to the front of the mat. Into the lunge, we take a little breath. Step it into the forward fold. And then bring the hands onto the hips, lengthen the chest, and slowly lift up. Bring hands in towards the heart as you take your breath in. Soften the knees over the toes. Hands come onto that right thigh. Slide the left foot back into the lunge. Drop the heel in. Open up into your warrior two. We're going to take a little breath from here. Bring the hands in towards the heart. Turn gently towards the front of the mat. Lift the back heel. Now we're going to step into eagle pose. So you could consider this as a step into a single-legged chair with the foot off the floor, taking the arms out wide. So on the exhale, allow yourself to come in. Wrap your left leg around, left arm over, right arm over the top. Bring the hands together. And then we'll release. Bring the feet to the floor. Take the hands forwards and up. Take a little back bend. Press the hips back, feet into the floor. Roll the shoulders back down. One more breath. And bring the hands in towards your heart. So soften the knees again over the toes. Now rearrange the feet if they didn't quite land where you wanted them to be. Bring the hands onto that left thigh. Sliding the right foot back into the lunge. You can wriggle. Drop the heel in. Open up into your warrior two. Bring the hands into the heart. Pivot gently around. As you come forwards, you take the arms out. Allow yourself to step. Wrap the foot round. Once you're safe, right arm across, left arm over the top. Bring the palms together. And slowly release. Take the hands forwards as you straighten up into that little back bend. And hands back in towards the heart. Take the hands out to the side and float up to the sky, palms reach. Hands through the heart and exhale down to the floor. We'll step it back into down dog. Come forwards into a plank. We're going to take half plank and up dog. So push forwards on the tip toes, elbows into the ribs, bootlaces change. Inhale high. Use the core muscles to lift back up. And press back into our down dog. So checking the hands are nicely connected to the ground. Roll the armpits into the ground a little bit. Draw the hips up. Press the heels back. Two more breaths here. Now float forwards into the plank. We'll let the knees come down underneath the body into tabletop. And we'll move in gently for a couple of rounds of cat-cow. Now come into a neutral spine, tucking the toes of the right foot underneath and sliding the foot back. Going to keep the hips stable, so press into the shin on the left leg as you lift your right foot off the ground to about the height of the hip. Take the left hand away and out in front, palm faces in. Bend the right knee, so the sole of the foot's towards the sky. Looking towards the fingers, we take it into the Superman twist. So we just wrap around slowly, let the chest open. Eventually we'll see a foot in the air, hopefully. And then we can just press the shin away once we've got the lock. Then the shoulders open up. Trying to keep the knee raised to about the height of the hip. And we'll release. Everything slowly back onto all fours. Toes on the left side. Shin on the right side goes down as you lift the leg. Take the right hand away. Bend your left knee. And then slowly keep your eyes on your fingertips as you swing out. That'll help open the chest up. You find your foot. And then press away. And we release. As the knees come to the floor, we'll sit back onto the heels. We'll just bring the knees together as we do that. Let ourselves roll the shoulders around a little bit. And going in both directions. And then we'll just roll the wrists out a little bit as well. So forearms come together. We go in all directions. So just warm them up, get a little bit of stress out of the wrists. Give fingers a little bit of a shake out. We'll come back up onto all fours. Take the knees out, hip distance apart again. Now we're going to spin the left foot off to the side a little bit, so pivoting on the left knee, and bring the left hand in just a little bit more in line with that left knee. Tuck the toes of the right foot underneath and slide the foot out, and then drop the heel towards the center line. Press the hips over to the right side, and we come into a baby side plank. Now you're trying to lift the body up and trying to lift the hips up as well, so you're taking weight out of the knee and out of the shoulder. It's a little bit of a juggling act. Press down into the extended leg to help with the lift. Last breath here. Bring the hands back down to the floor. And then we'll take the right foot off the mat. Bring the right hand a little bit as we slide the left leg back. Drop the heel in. Press the hips forwards to take that left hand up. Again, working on taking as much weight as we can out. So we're really working on that inner thigh on the long leg to press down. And then bring everything back down to the floor. So we're on all floors. We'll take the right hand up towards the sky for threading the needle through. So bringing that under, letting the shoulder and ear come to the ground. Pressing into that top hand so the elbows points towards the sky. Roll the shoulder back a little bit, belly drawn in. And press into the floor to lift up on the exhale. Back onto all fours for a breath. Take the next inhale, left hand lifts. Fold it under on the exhale. One more breath. On the exhale, press to come back onto all fours. I'm going to send the feet out to the side and just roll gently back. I'm going to take the block underneath the bottom and allow the legs to lengthen out. Just moving the flesh around a little. I'll bring the right heel into the groin, knee to the floor, square the hips out. Take a little bend in the knee, lift the body up, and then fold over the thigh, and you take the hands out to the toes, and flex the foot and actually help draw the foot back using the hands to just pull. And then from there, we can help the spine lengthen up a little bit more. Gradually, you can lengthen the heel away and the hips back so that that leg gets a little straighter. And then we'll release. We'll take it over to the other side. So bring in the left heel in, square the hips, a little bend in the knees, flex the foot, lift up, fold it over, hands come into position, draw the foot back, lift the chest up, draw the shoulders back a little bit. And then again, see if you can lengthen the heel out and send the hips back. Might be marginal, might be more of a feeling process than a moving process. And we'll release from there. Take the legs back out. And as we do, we'll take the right leg underneath and out towards the hip for a seated twist. So left leg comes across, right arm lifts, and we rotate round. Let's press the hips or the pelvis forwards a little bit, lengthen the spine out from the base. Check the weight feels even on both sitting bones. And we'll release from here. Take those legs back out, final side. Twisting over to the right. And we'll release from there. So we'll just come off the block, move that out to the side, knees high, feet about hip distance apart as we bring the heels in towards the body. Hands behind, we roll the spine down, hands down towards the toes, lie the shoulders down and head down onto the floor. We're going to draw the belly in and just peel the tailbone away from the floor and lift up into a little bit of a bridge. Slide the shoulders underneath, bring the hands underneath, interlace the fingers, just press those arms into the ground a little bit. Lengthen the knees away, buttocks away. And then we can release back down to the ground. And we're going to take that into Shavasana. So just sliding the heels out to the corner edges. And take the block under the back of the head again. Because I like it, but also it makes it far easier to see the clock. Hands out to the side, palms facing up, and just relax everything down into the mat. We'll wriggle the fingers and toes. Start to breathe a little deeper as we roll the wrists and the ankles. Take a big stretch. And slide the heels back in for a final little hug. Rock and roll, whatever feels good. And then we'll gently roll on an exhale down to the right. Use the exhale as the next breath to lift up using the hands. And roll ourselves into a seated posture of choice. Hands in towards the heart as we take a breath in. Closing the eyes, we can bow the head gently to the floor, feeling our practice for the morning. On the inhale, the head will lift, eyes open. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day.